Hello everyone. Today I want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart. It is about woman, the helper of man. I know it might be controversial, but I feel it is very important because we are living in a time where our roles as the helper has been very demeaned. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but we as women are expected to do something and many things that are not what God has created us for. So yes, I believe we women were created to be man's helper. Specifically, our husband's helper. Now, I don't think every woman is meant to be married. Some women are called to religious life, and maybe a certain few may be called to single life to take care of their parents and perhaps help in the church and community in other ways. However, throughout the centuries, most women, most girls were raised to become wives and mothers. And this is what was always pleasing unto God. And it's only been in recent history that women are now expected to become part of society in a way that was really meant for man. As Christian women, we must know our place. We are equally loved by God, and we have our own roles to fulfill. So that's important to know. We must, if we are married women, this is what I'm specifically addressing today, is married women as the helper of man or as a helper of their husband. We must firstly make sure to keep our vows. So I printed out, or I wrote down some traditional Catholic vows, and it is to be good to our husbands in the good and the bad, in sickness and health, for richer or for poorer, till death do us part. Just saying that is such a beautiful thing. Such a beautiful, beautiful thing. Now, hard and easy times, good and bad times, they're gonna come, right? And I'm gonna just get a little bit personal. There have been times that, not recently, but in the beginning of our marriage, where I didn't know how to hold things together, and I would just get upset, and my first reaction was to leave. I was like, I'm not gonna divorce, but I will leave. And this was my answer, I guess, because growing up, I kind of knew more about moving than stability. And I guess it formed in me like a mindset of the easiest answer is to leave, you know? And I didn't even really know how to work things out, to be honest. It was always David who came and, praise be to God, worked things out. So good and bad times, they will come, and we must remember our vows. Now, through sickness and health, sometimes it's not easy. It sounds easier said than done. Oh yeah, you know, a little cold or something, but there's actually much harder sicknesses that will come. Everybody's cross in this area is different, and it's just important to remember that we are there to care for our husbands as they are there to care for us through the good and the bad, the sick and the health. Richer for poor. I think most of us probably know the poorer part. But there are times of plenty as well that God blesses us. And so that could bring about its own problems, you know. Some people may do better when they're poor, you know, as a couple. Some people may do worse. Some people may do better with riches. Some people may do worse because it has its own temptations and struggles along the way with it. Till death, so important. Today, we just think, yes, I'll keep my vows until I love him no more. Or I love her no more. You know, until it gets too hard to, you know, handle or whatever. But the Bible tells us, and the church tells us, till death do us part. So that's important to remember, that we as women must be our husband's helper until God calls us home, or until God calls our husbands home. We have been tainted by feminist views. I did not realize how tainted I was until God started revealing some things to me about myself. And, you know, we just have to be aware of what feminism is and what femininity is. And how it can easily move its way into our thoughts, into our heart, into our words, into our actions. It's very important to be aware of this. So let's educate ourselves on what is feminism and how is it causing difficulties in each of our homes. You know, that's something you have to personally just reflect on and research on, so that you can better your home environment. I will say, I know that there are some women out there, because I know some of them, who have had a much better start to femininity than I have. You know, they know what it's like to have their mother at home. They know what it's like to see their parents together. And even if there are maybe some arguments here or there, they know that generally their parents love each other, and they saw how to make a marriage work. I think for the most part today, that's not the situation. Most women, myself included, don't know what a marriage looks like. And so we're kind of struggling along. At some points we may be, you know, drowning, and other times God lifts us up and reveals to us what is causing, like, what's all the water causing us to drown. And I really believe a lot of the times it goes back to the feminist movement, and the Communist Manifesto, which is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. But we must look at these things honestly if we want to have good, healthy marriages and homes for our children to grow up in. Okay, this next topic is also a little difficult to to talk about, but it's submission. The Bible says that we must submit unto our husbands, and it also says that our husbands must love us as Christ loved the church. Now, I can say that both sides don't ever do what they're supposed to do, because some women want to say, oh, I'm not gonna submit, you crazy. And then husbands are like, I love her enough. But, you know, in the end, it must be here, not that the woman is so submissive and the husband is abusive. Briefly, I'm just gonna address what submission really is. It's just loving and respecting our husbands and their God-given authority. And I am partially cleric, like my temperament is not the best for submission, but over the years, God has really helped me along. I mean, a lot, you know, and I'm still not where I should be or where I want to be as far as this topic of submission, but I am working towards it, and I'm really, I read up on it so that I could know what it is and try to practice it every time I get a chance. And believe me, I get a chance many times a day to be submissive to my husband and to just love and respect him. And it's not always easy, but it's what we must try and strive to do. I pray that your husband loves you as Christ loved the church, because I could say David does. He really does, and he's such a good husband, and he's such a blessing in my life, but not everybody has that. However, even if that's not the case, we must be like Mary. We must be like Mary and love him. We must love him in return, like Mary. Yeah. And in doing this with prayer and this sacrifice, we can save his soul. I know of some women who have not had the best husbands, but through prayer and sacrifice, the sacrifice of being submissive, that's a sacrifice in and of itself. We could probably just, you know, like become saints by being submissive. You know, I know women who have changed their husbands, not in the sense that I want to change my husband, like the worldly sense, but in the sense of him loving Christ and thus loving you. So let's work on submission. Okay, now our primary duties, right? Here we go. Primary duties. As a wife is to, number 1, care for our husbands. Number 2, care for the home. And number 3, care for the children. I've been to women's houses that you can tell that they're really slacking on their jobs. I'm not perfect. I have a mess right behind me that I have not gotten to today. But I have not been sitting around watching YouTube, going on Facebook, I don't know, checking out the news, eating myself away, playing, you know, just reading, whatever it might be that you enjoy to do before doing your duties. I have not been doing this, but my house still ends up a mess. But I'm constantly on top of organizing, cleaning, figuring out what needs to be done next, how I can help the children better so that they can, you know, help out the family and thus bring peace to my husband's mind, you know, and so that he can come into the home and breathe. That's why I always make sure that the area that he walks into first is always the cleanest, you know? Like, I might not have gotten to the bed yet when he gets home, but the kitchen, you know, the dishes are done, the floor is swept, and sometimes that doesn't even happen. Maybe sometimes I get to the upstairs and my beds are all made, and then he walks in and it's just like, I'm sorry, honey, I haven't gotten there yet. But I promise you, I've not been lazy. I've been thinking about you being out there working for us, and so I am working here for you. So the church is very clear. The work of the mother in the home is a full-time occupation. It is her chief honor and dignity, and only extraordinary circumstances permit her to delegate this responsibility. It is an honor. I love that. This is our crown in heaven. Our crown in heaven is to take care of our husbands and our home and our children. I'm sorry, I get a little emotional about this. This is our honor and dignity. And I'm going to tell you one thing before I leave. One last thing. This is from Christian Family Outreach. Quickly, because my baby just woke up, so I'm just going to quickly say it. Society today has successfully convinced the woman that she is better off out of the home. People feel that they cannot mention anything positive about the dedicated mother in the home because women are jealous, because they have been propagandized against, because they have been brainwashed into the feminist thinking. Our worldly society has no problem putting down the homemaker though, right? The full-time homemaker, I'm sure you get qualms about it all the time. I'm sure people put you down. But you don't need to be worried about that, because this is our dignity and our honor and our glory in heaven. It will be a glorious crown if we take it up in love. really can't speak much more on this right now. Like I said, my baby just woke up and I must tend to him now. But I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that this was helpful. I'm sure that there will be haters, and that's okay. I'm not here to please the masses. I'm here to share with you what God has shown me. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like and comment below, and check out our blog for more information. God bless.